Welcome inside the locker room, the last edition of the Coaches Show for the 2024 season. This week, senior night slash Spring Valley edition. The Timberwolves coming to town for a Friday night clash on senior night. Tonight, as always, we're streaming live on Facebook Live and also simulcasting on WWSA. Josh, he's on our controls like he's been all season. Kaylee should be joining us in between breaks. You'll hear from her. And, of course, we got the coach. Run you through tonight's show. First segment, we'll look back at the Riverside game, recognize some GPA winners, also some game award winners from the Riverside game. Second segment tonight, we'll look into the playoff picture, look at some local games, and then also look at the Spring Valley. And then in the third segment of the thing, Coach is going to stick it out for the third segment, and we're just going to walk through the seniors and give a little insight on each senior, something funny, maybe something that stood out in practice or a game or something. And Coach, of course, will enlighten us on all that. Also, our sponsor tonight, again, is White Heaven Productions. And with Christmas time around the corner, I want to get scheduled for your pictures. And you can do that by going to White Heaven Productions. Check out their Facebook page at White Heaven Productions. Or you can just visit them at 420 First Avenue in Nitro. It's just right across the bridge, right beside Stephen Auto, sandwiched in between Dollar General there. Or give them a call at 304-520-5322. Coach, welcome and congratulations on another victory last Friday night.
Thank you. It was a good one. Felt real good.
Went back and watched the film yesterday on the site that ran that for the Friday Night Rivals, and saw a nice little interesting picture from State College there of a young Derek Stotts there.
That was about 60 pounds ago.
Something you didn't inform us this season. You were Defensive Player of the Year in the conference.
For West Virginia State.
For West Virginia State, okay.
In 2005.
So, 2005. So congratulations for going all the way back there. I mean, yeah, you was a lean, and the number 3 stood out. You know, your son wears the number 3. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. You kind of look like you there, you know. But I think Mark Martin made the point that, or maybe it was the guy on collar, that you guys looked a lot larger than what the kids today look like. So
might have been the shoulder pads.
Yeah,
they've got lighter and more efficient pads than we do.
Yeah, don't look like he said. He looked like a monster, man. First 9 weeks out, Coach, and I'm telling you, I was looking at some of these grade point averages. Your team is very intelligent. I'm going to run over some of these names, and if you want to say anything about them, 4.8 average. I guess 4.0 to 4.8. Ava King, Nehemiah Bass, John Long, Alonzo Long, Landon Green, Terrell Ellis, Michael Lowe, Gavin Duncan, Gabe Brennan, Lucas Warner, and Deuce McClain. That's quite a list just to have 4.0 students there.
I mean, we put a lot of work on the academic side. Like I said, I have an academic game plan. And in that game plan, I have an academic coordinator. And we do daily study hall for these guys. When needed, we bring tutors in for them. And we do all of this before practice. And for those guys who are struggling and they don't have the GPA as required, they don't have the honor and the privilege to go out there and practice. They have to stay here and get those grades up. We pull grades every Thursday, so we stay on top of it. With our numbers, we cannot afford to lose anybody to stuff that we can control. One of our things are, you control what you can control, and academics, that game plan is something that we can definitely control. And the staff took pride in it. The players took pride in it. Players took pride in it, and you can see the results.
Yeah. Well, you get lost in the shuffle. I mean, you're going to practice every day, and then you want a social life, so, it's not hard to miss a few tests, miss a few assignments.
Not at all.
And, then you're playing, behind the chains, as we would say in football. Don't want to leave these guys out. 3.0 average, Malcolm Maxwell, Caden Riggin, Cameron Taylor, Kane Morris, Asa Williams, and Brandon Peck also. Was there any awards other than recognition on that as far as the school?
We give our GPA champion. Our GPA champion was Ava King, and which is an incredible student athlete for St. Albans. Not only does she play football, she plays soccer. She's in the band. She just does so much. She's an incredible athlete.
Yeah, and I think she's also a member of the DECA team also.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, well, the game Friday night, you sunned up all the flags. It was like a first game feel. Now, I know that's a top-notch officiating crew, and they're probably, I don't know if they were being evaluated or not, because they will get there. They're usually in the playoffs type crew, but I mean, it was almost 400 yards and penalties in that game.
Good luck for whatever teams they officiate. I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but that was a little excessive. Kind of take away from the flow of the game. You kind of take away from just the experience of having a football game when you have that many flags. Definitely take accountability for our team. That was something that we hammered on this week. All those guys that got personal fouls, we definitely took care of that this week. They paid their price for that poor conduct and behavior. We also were able to get those guys. We were also able to get those guys controlled and let them understand the significance of those penalties and how costly it was.
No, it's the first time I think this season I've seen excessive for touchdowns or something, excessive celebration penalties. Is that? I mean, I've just not seen that in a high school this year. You know, I mean, I don't know if that's something that you guys tell the players. You know, I mean, I think they should be able to celebrate. I mean, I don't see.
And again, it's a game. At the end of the day, we know the revenue that it brings in. We know the time that these kids put in. It's a game, and we can't lose that in sight of all the stuff that comes with it. It's a game, and these kids need to be able to enjoy it and have fun. We definitely pulled our players to the side and let them know, hey, those penalties are costly penalties. Those are very, very, very costly penalties, and we can't have those selfish acts. We know you guys want to experience the fun part. We know you want to celebrate. We know you want to do those things that you see on TV every week, but it's a selfish concept. It's a selfish thing, and it puts your team at a disadvantage. And ultimately, on that first touchdown, where we had that excessive celebration penalty, we didn't convert that extra point, and it could have came back to hurt us in such a tight ball game.
That's exactly right. All right, well, let's take a look at the game. You guys got the opening kick from the 36-yard line, just pretty much a 3-and-out, incomplete pass, no gain, incomplete pass, punt. Pretty much the beginning of the game is just filling each other out there. They did the same, punt on their first down. Now the second possession, you guys also punted, but they also turned the ball over. We did see 2 interceptions, I think, in that game.
Yep, correct.
That one there was returned by Hamilton in that. But then again, it was more of a defensive first quarter. No real, other than the penalties, as far as yardage-wise, there was really not any big yardage. Now, I'm trying to scroll down through my notes here. Looks like your best drive came in the second quarter. You guys put together a 7-play drive, which had ended up in that 48-yard touchdown pass to Maxwell. What was the key to that one?
The key to that one was us flipping the field on defense. Defense played in an amazing game, probably the best 4 quarters of defense we played all year. We were able to keep them with a short field. We were able to keep the momentum after we punted, and those 2 turnovers early really gave us the momentum. So then we were able to take a shot and give away a down if we didn't complete it. But ultimately, Malcolm was able to get to the outside on his release and stack the defensive back, and Reese put a ball in there that was able to be caught. He made the play, he made the catch, and he went and scored. And that was the first one of the season that we actually converted on that play right there. And
then the most exciting play I think I saw was when Riverside had the football, and Malcolm didn't play in the Hunt didn't play in the first quarter, came in the second quarter with that long run, and I think it showed Maxwell that brought him down. I mean, he came from a long ways to track him down, and I know he's been having some injuries as far as Malachi, but still, I mean, he tracked him down and made a saving tackle there.
One of our things all year that's been keeping us in ball games and keeping us motivated is our pursuit. We do pursuit drill every day in practice, and right there you've seen the team speed that was displayed. Malcolm is a guy who ran 4.5 in about 6 different camps this summer. So to see him being able to open it up and show that tenacity to go chase somebody almost 60, 70 yards to prevent a touchdown was something that we pride ourselves on. We always want to get the guy in the grass and play probability. The probability that the offense makes a mistake before the defense breaks with us is very high. So as long as we're on the field and we're playing defense, we got a chance to make a stop. So for us not to give that play up, get him in the grass, and then go back out there the next drive, that was the last play of the first quarter. So we flipped fields and came back down this way for the second quarter, and they still don't get in. We could have easily just said, you know what, let them score, and that's it, and now it's, they're up in the ball game. But we dug deep. He went and traced him down, and they didn't score that drive.
Yeah, I do believe it ended on a Ellis' sack.
Correct.
In there. They turned the ball over on down. So, defense there. Back toward the end of the first half, we saw Riverside put together a good run and a couple good runs. I think they got the ball and got a good run, but they turned it over on downs again. They had a 14-play drive. Ended up turning it over on downs, and then they gave the ball back to you. You guys fumbled the football, I do believe, on one down. Yeah, fumbled the football, and then you turned it back, and right before the half, another great defensive stand that kept them out of the end zone as the first half came to an end there.
And that's what we pride ourselves on. We've been dealt a lot of blows on the defensive side of the ball where we're having to defend short fields and we're having to defend sudden change, and we continuously rise to the occasion. We don't get our head down. We don't point fingers. Offense comes out, they fumble the ball. We get right back on the defensive side of the ball, and we keep swinging. I tell my guys, it's an opportunity for you to make plays. There's no reason why, if you love to play defense, you get upset when the offense makes a mistake, and you guys get to go back on the field and you get to play more defense. Mm-hmm. So if anything, you should be happy and you should be ecstatic that you get to get back out there and have another chance to go knock somebody down.
And then halftime, you guys up 6-0. Second half, Riverside gets the football and put together another pretty decent drive. Then again, defense steps up, turns the ball over on downs. And, I look at my statistics here. I just keep seeing flag that kind of pursued that drive. I don't know if that was more on Riverside or just more on getting, a 15-yard penalty here, just got them into your territory, but they did turn it over on downs. On your 6:51 of the third quarter, you guys put together a nice drive. Trying to look, actually, it started the fourth quarter. You guys got, your son, Deshaun, picked up 23 yards, 4 yards, and then converted from 17 yards out for the touchdown.
We wanted to make a concerted effort to get back to what we do and get back to our ground game. We came out initially in the first half, and we were taking shots in the air. We were getting a little pass happy, and even though the defense was playing great, the offense was having a couple short drives, and we were leaving a lot of points on the field. So we went at a halftime, and we decided, hey, we're going to go back to what we know. We're going to go back to what we do best, and that was running the ball. So we came out and we made a couple plays. Like you said, we made a 17-yard play, then a 23-yard play, and then we were able to string together a couple good runs, and I think that was maybe a 6 to 8 play drive for 70 yards that we capped off with a touchdown. And we did it on the ground game, and that's where we've been making our money all year.
And and that comes after, and we did this again in Lincoln County also. That came right after they did score a touchdown. Their quarterback got hurt. They jockeyed around. I think he was probably a running back. Came in and played a little quarterback there and caught you guys and got the score. But that's 2 home games that we've seen here that you guys answered the bell and came back out to that following possession there and took the lead back to get that momentum.
And that's two home games we've answered the bell, but we've been answering the bell all year. And it's been a testament to the defense and how well they face adversity, how well that they're preparing, and how well that they enjoy being around each other. Even on that touchdown, we had the quarterback in the backfield, which should have been a TFL. He missed a tackle, and he was able to hit us in the crease and score it in. It was pretty good D, but better offense. Players make plays, and he made a play, and he was able to get in the end zone on us on that one. But overall, I feel like the defense played lights out.
And you played against a pretty good running back. Now, he didn't play, I don't think he played in the fourth quarter, but the freshman that they have is very, very dynamic.
Yeah.
He's hard. It seems like he's a little slippery because he runs through people, and
And he's another guy that, you know, I've been blessed to watch do it since he was 5 years old. Watched him at Sissonville in middle school. He could tote the rock. He's a football player. And they lost him the drive that they scored the touchdown. Maybe 2 or 3 plays before the touchdown, we had a TFL. Deshaun had shot a gap, and he had tackled him about 4 or 5 yards in the backfield, and I guess ended up rolling up on his ankle, and he was out as well. And then the quarterback went out, and that's when they put the backup in, and he was able to crease us. But after that injury, I don't believe he came back the rest of the night.
And their next drive, INT, Deuce McClain intercepted, returned the ball down to the 5. Had a penalty there, dropped it back to the 9, but ran a nice little slant pattern there to Deuce, or no, it was Deuce.
Deuce, yep.
For the little 9-yard touchdown.
Yeah, we ran an RPO. Brought the back across the formation to get the mic to bite up. As soon as the mic bites up, Reese has a 1-read throw and he gets it right over his head and connects with Deuce, and Deuce does the rest. Complimentary football.
Yeah, and we've seen that this year, that same play, but it seems like that we've had some drops, we've had some balls thrown behind it, but I mean, to me, it plays seems like it works. I mean, it seems like it's there, and it seems like Reese really has a feel for that.
It's what he does best. You want to keep his reads quick. You don't want to give him a 5 progression read play where he has to scan from left to right and come back, check down. He's best with making quick decisions. We get the running game going, and you give him a light box, he can pick apart pretty much any defense, and he's been having success with that all year. So for us to get that running game established in the second half and get those backers playing close to the line of scrimmage and keeping their eyes on the running back, we're able to go right behind their heads on a couple of quick pass plays, and we connected on those.
And 2-point conversion there, McCord wide open. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but it couldn't have got any easier.
The run game. Once you're
into the backfield there.
Once you start running the ball, those backers get a little chippy and they take it personal, and they'll play run first and they'll bite on every fake you give them, and then you can slip a guy behind them, slip a guy right to the outside of them, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to be open. Yeah, and that one was. You guys gave them another defensive stand, but you guys gave them an opportunity. You guys went for it on 4th down, which I think it was in the punt formation, and gave them good field position, but you guys ended the game defensively, just playing shutout ball, and then the game ended Ashland Hamilton interception, and then you guys just ran out the clock from there. Yeah, the fake punt wasn't supposed to be a fake punt. I guess Deuce didn't hear the call, and I'll live with whatever decision that he makes. We're playing good defense, but ideally would have liked to pump the ball and flip the field and be a little more safe, but again, the defense rose up again, and I think Ashton ended with 2 interceptions. Deuce ended with 1 interception. Tyrell had 3 sacks. Deshaun ended up with 15 tackles. Sean had 13 tackles. Deuce had 11 tackles, and he also had Sean ended up with 13 tackles and 2.5 sacks. Tyrell ended up with 9 tackles and 3 sacks. Deshaun ended up with 15 tackles, and the defense was just phenomenal.
Yeah, I was just looking at the stats. You guys had 8 sacks for the game.
Phenomenal.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, you can't 8 sacks, 3 interceptions, dropped 2 interceptions actually.
Yeah,
it could have been a lot more, but you know.
And as far as offensively passing, Reese was 7 for 15 for 72 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rushing, your son, 12 carries, 101 yards, 1 touchdown. James Lowe, is that, I think he's an underclassman.
He's a freshman. He's a freshman. We've been trying to work into the mix. We didn't have him in the beginning of the season. He came back homecoming week, and a guy that you'll hear about quite a bit next year. Just trying to get his feet wet, trying to get him acclimated to the speed of the high school game, the physicality, put a little more meat on his bones, and he'll be a guy that you'll definitely hear from next year.
Okay, yeah, I didn't recognize him, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. He got into the game there. Also, Sean had 4 carries and 6 yards. Receiving, Sean McCord, 3 receptions, 6 yards. Malcolm Maxwell, that big 49-yarder for a touchdown, and then Deuce was 17 yards. So overall, how do you grade out your team?
This week, defensively was an A+. just amazing performance by the defense. Offense, we got a little bit of work to do. Like I said, we left a lot of points out there, but for us to be able to, say what we want to do and go out there and do it was definitely a plus, and I definitely like what I've seen with that.
Team awards this week? That's hard to choose from this week.
Yeah, this week, defense, we gave the players of the week to the whole defense. Like I said, the whole defense was lights out and incredible. Offensive player of the week was Deshaun, and the Iron Dragon was Tyrell.
Okay. All right, interesting. That concludes our first segment. We will take a break. We come back. We'll set you up with some playoff ratings and take a look at the Spring Valley Timberwolves team and go from there. All right, thanks, and we'll be right back.
Welcome, folks, to the most mouth-watering showdown on television, the Hangry Games Ultimate Snack-Off, right here at your local Little General store. As the snacks fly and the deli slices, remember, dear viewers, every item they're using can be found at your nearest Little General store, where creativity meets convenience. Keep your appetites brave and your snacks ready.
Come out this weekend to Nitro and see the #1 Scarlet Red Dragons keep their undefeated record against the #2 team Hurricane Redskins in the Appalachian Bowl championship football game. Support our youth as they will soon be at the high school playing on Friday nights. That's Sunday in Nitro, kickoff at 2:30 p.m. The cost for adults is $6 and for students it's $4.
Coach, will you be there?
Absolutely. I was there at the last game at John Adams Middle School. Got to see them play the Eastern Canal Cougars, and the C team was amazing. They put on a great show. Ended up blowing it open at the end, and those little guys are just a dynamic group. We keep them together. It'll be some bright future in St. Albans football.
Yeah, especially when they get going all in middle school together, they'll be able to play together the whole way through. I think
Jacob Clay is doing an amazing job with those. Tommy Riggins, those guys, Coach Jay Brown, they're doing phenomenal. Chris Saldivar, you got Lean Kaleem out there. A bunch of guys who know football, but more than that, they love the kids, and you can see the product on the field.
Yeah.
So Sunday, 2:30 at Nitro, they'll be playing Hurricane, and we'll be excited to see that matchup. It'll be a 1-versus-2 matchup as well. So.
Yeah. Well, we all know that Hurricane is great in sports, so it'll be. I'm sure it'll be a great game. Playoff rankings for the week is. I'm trying to piece it together. Do we have a mathematical road to there with a victory, or have you sat down and looked at it, or?
Yeah, I've definitely looked at it. We've got a slither of hope. We pull this one off. I believe Spring Valley might be 6. I would think.
7.
7. Okay, they're 7 right now. We go ahead and we get this one, and we should have enough to jump to that 16th spot. We'll be 4 and 6. I believe the 16th spot right now might be 3 and 7 or just above it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Point Pleasant. Yeah, they're under 500.
Right. Absolutely. So, you get a top 10 quality win against a team that's been battling with the best in 4A. It's going to be hard to keep them out.
Okay. We'll take a look at 4A. Martinsburg is your #1 in 4A, followed by Huntington, Wheeling Park, Hurricane, Jefferson, Morgantown, Washington, Parkersburg, GW in at 9. They fell a spot last week. 10 spot, very interesting. Spring Mills, I don't know if you followed that this week, where they had to forfeit 4 games by an ineligible player. How does that happen? I mean, how do you not know a player is eligible in the middle of the season? I guess maybe it was at the beginning of the season, maybe the games they had to forfeit.
Right, I can't speak on what I don't know. What I do know is that Spring Mills team is a very talented team, and I'm sure that record isn't dependent on one player. I believe defensive-wise, they gave up 27 points all year. Yeah. And they've played the best of the best. They played Martinsburg. They played them all. And for you to have a schedule like that and to have 27 points given up all year in week 9, 10, 11, you're averaging less than 3 points a game.
Well, the worst part about it, right now they're at number 10. They'll have a road game on that first series. It seems like
Hey, playoffs 1 through 16. You're in. You're in.
Yeah, that's true.
You're in. You're in.
11 through 16, Woodrow Wilson University, Musselman, Cabell Midland, Hedgesville, and Parkersburg in there. And one more note for this week, Martinsburg comes down here. They play Hurricanes, so that's a big game for both teams there. AAA, Bridgeport, number 1 now. They beat Fairmont Senior last week. Fairmont Senior drops to 3. Princeton sandwiched in there at 2. Hoover, another local team, at 4. Oak Hill up 2 spots to 5. Nitro dropped a spot to 6. And we talked Spring Valley up 1 spot to 7. North Marion down 2. East Fairmont, Ripley, Shady Springs, Hampshire, Elkins, R.C. Bird, Lewis County, and Point Pleasant. And your Red Dragons at number 25 with 6.24 points. Point Pleasant comes in at 9.03 points in that. So I didn't write down the teams in between 16 and 24, but definitely if you can beat the number 17, you should get a lot of bonus points because Spring Valley, I think, struggled earlier in the season, but
no, they didn't struggle. They played real quality football teams.
Yeah, that's it. I can't say they struggled. They
played real quality football teams. They played those teams tooth and nail, and they didn't get the win. I mean, again, they
should. I think they almost beat Hurricane.
And Huntington as well. They played them very tough. So you play a schedule like that, and you get those 2 losses early. A lot of coaches will take that rather than playing teams that aren't ready yet, and teams that are still rebuilding, and teams that you can get a cupcake schedule with. So Spring Valley is battle tested, and they're playing people.
And we'll take a look at them here in a minute. MSAC games this week. Riverside 1-8 travels to Cabell Midland. Cabell Midland's won 4 in a row, looking to go to 500. Lindsay Cadets. They used to stay with me when I was in hotel management. I haven't seen them down here in years. Very quality team, which is not a sanctioned team here in West Virginia. They're I think maybe like a prep school or something, and they always had high quality D1 players, so that might be an interesting game as they travel to Huntington. And we talked about Martinsburg 9-0 playing Hurricane. Musselman visits Parkersburg LEM SAC. G-Dub is going to Woodrow Wilson. South Charleston and Capital. South Charleston still looking for that first win on the season. Other games of interest: Nitro 8-1 travels to Greenbrier East, Winfield and Point Pleasant, Hoover and Weir, Sherman Poca, and Sissonville and Wayne. All right, well, let's get to Spring Valley. They number 17. Like I wrote this up last week, I had number 8, 6-3 overall. Head coach is Brad Dingus. Last week, a 61-7 victory over South Charleston, and we talked about this: wins over South Point, Cabell Midland, GW, Capital, Woodrow Wilson, and South Charleston. Losses come to Jefferson, Hurricane, and Huntington. So yeah, they're three stud teams there.
Yeah, they're playing ball. They're playing ball.
Some of their top players: Julian Abercrombie. I haven't seen him play this year.
He's amazing.
He's definitely a D1 prospect. You know where he might be going? I don't know.
Wherever he wants.
Wherever he wants.
Wherever he wants. He's amazing.
He's a player that can stretch the field. He's like kind of comparing with somebody, maybe the guy from Huntington there that he played different positions, multiple positions, and you just got to keep an eye on him. And then that kind of lose your interest in some of the other players like Cole Ferguson that can also cross the middle and make some catches there. And Liam McGuire, I think, is the quarterback now.
And he's got a rocket for an arm. When you're watching film and you see how far he can throw and on the money, he's got a cannon. He's a guy that we can't give up our coverage on. We have to stay and we have to play coverage. If it's 30, 40, 50 yards downfield, he can get the ball down there, and he's got guys that can go get it. So our secondary is going to have to be real disciplined. They can't cut their drop short. They can't cut their rotation short. They're going to have to stay in coverage and let their front seven work.
Now, I did hear earlier in the year, I heard an interview with Brad Dingus, and it kind of surprised me because Spring Valley's always been that big team that just jams the ball down your throat and run. But I heard him say he wanted to be a 50-50 team this year. So
they still have their roots. They still have their roots. They still stay true to Spring Valley football. They'll come out in the wing tee. They'll line up and they'll move you out the way. And even when they do go in their 10 personnel and they have guys on the perimeter, their box is still intact, and you'll still see the pin and pulls. You'll still see the down, and arounds, the powers and the counters. They just get to them from different ways. They'll get to them out of trips. They'll get to it out of doubles. They'll get to it out of 11 personnel. They'll get to what they do out of any look that they can give you on the perimeter, but those front 5, 6, and 7 will still get to where they need to get.
All right, yeah. I haven't seen him play this year, but like I said, record-wise, 6-3. When you only lose to Hurricane, Jefferson, and Huntington, you're a pretty good football team. Any other comments on what we can do to penetrate that team, or
just
some
play
weaknesses
ball.
there? And
just play ball, keep number 4 in front of us, and on the defensive line wise, just be sound in our technique, be sound in our run blocks fits. Our run block, be sound in our run fits, and take care of the run block game, and we should be okay. We should be able to compete up front, and we should be able to run on the perimeter.
Health of the team, we still. We had the ones that went out, but it seems like the last couple of games I've seen, we haven't seen a whole lot of injuries, kids going out. We still just nicks, bruises. Yeah,
we've been healthy probably the last 3 or 4 weeks, and you've seen the difference with the product on the field. And this week we'll come in with no injuries from last week, and we got a bunch of guys who are ready to put it on the line.
Good deal. All right, well, that'll end our second segment. We come back, we're going to get with the coach, and we're going to walk through all the seniors of the team for Senior Day tomorrow. And if you're in the area tomorrow and you want to take in some football, come out early, get your prior 7 o'clock so you can watch these seniors walk on the field tomorrow. We'll also have other teams there too, so you support them also with the soccer and cheerleading. So we'll take our second break, and we'll be right back.
One day where you want to make sure you have the memories to last you a lifetime. Let White Heaven Productions be the one to hold on to this special moment in your life. We will work with you before your wedding day to make sure we capture everything you want in a wedding. Contact us by filling out a form online at whiteheaven.co.
Don't forget to check your school calendar. The winter sports season is here. Tryouts for most beginning next week. The St. Albans alumni basketball game is Friday, November 15th. The girls' game is at 6, and the boys will follow at 7:30.
All right, welcome back to Talking Stocks. Here's our last episode of the season as we get ready for senior night. And Coach, I just want to recognize these seniors. We did a little montage before the talk show tonight, and we'll be showing that tomorrow. So if everybody tunes in to watch that, and it'll be on streaming, so you can go back and watch that at any time with video production. So I'll just run down the list. If you can, I know every one of these kids are great and they're all smart. But you can just give us, just little tidbits, something that happened in practice, something goofy or whatever, or something that about each and every one of these guys. We'll start from the top, and we'll start with Sean McCord.
For those who've been watching this show from week 1, that's a name that you've probably heard 1,000 times. He's the ultimate football player. I call him Agent Zero. Nothing that we ask him to do, he can't do. He's played safety, he's played linebacker, he's played defensive end, he's played running back, he's played receiver. He was our emergency quarterback. He holds the snaps on extra points. The kid is just...
And he does them all well.
He does them all well, and he has a passion that's unrivaled amongst anybody. He puts it on the line every single game. He's hurt, he's banged, he's battered, he's bruised, and his heart is still pumping, and it's pumping ferociously, and he's a guy that I just love to watch play this game.
Yeah, I do too. Next guy, Malcolm Maxwell.
Malcolm Maxwell, he's a kid that, was thrust into a position that he never had to be in before. He was a new kid at the new school. Completely different demographic than what he's used to, and he just was a chameleon. Off the field, he's done phenomenal in the education in the schoolhouse. On the field, he's been everything that we can ask him to be. He's one kid that is so aware of everything else around him that he often loses himself trying to please everybody. And he's just a kid that you have to love.
Yeah.
You have to. On the field, he was the ultimate effort guy. He was the one who ran down 70 yards and caught Malachi. He's a kid that you just have to love.
Yeah, I do. I love to watch him play. Next guy up, another guy I like to watch play. He's got he's got juice. I mean, he never stops, and that's Deuce McClain.
Yeah, Deuce is my man. Deuce is my man. He fell out of the sky to us, and man, he's been phenomenal. He can kick the ball, he can run the ball, he can catch the ball. He's just a guy that's played the game at the highest level, and he's a guy that can show the young guys like, hey, this is the way you're supposed to play the game. Often when we're going through our preparation, I check the guys' study habits and how much they're watching film, and I get down and I gotta look up. I click on Deuce's name and I'm looking. I'm like, this must be a typo. There's no way he watched this much film. No way. It'd be weeks where sometimes he watched more film than our position coaches, and I'm like, this is a guy who understands that he gets it, and the sky is going to be the limit for Deuce, whether it's baseball, whether it's football, whether it's whatever he wants to do. The kid, he applies himself in the most amazing fashion, and I love it for him.
Comonte Gravely?
Comonte Gravely, we call him Wink.
Okay.
Wink is our firecracker, man. Wink is our guy that's going to give you that emotion, whether it's off the bench, whether it's on the field. He's a guy that you just have to love. He's a guy that's going to put it on the line. He's a guy that may be the smallest in stature, but the biggest in heart. You couldn't tell Wink that he's not 6'6", 280, built of brick. And, that's the attitude and mentality that I need in this locker room, and it was very infectious from him.
Yeah, I think I've seen him take some hits this year, and he just got right back up.
And he'll give some, too.
Yeah, he did. Ashton Hamilton.
Ashton is my guy. Ashton is my guy. Ashton is my guy who keeps me grounded. He'll text me questions at 1 a.m. Ashton is that guy that every coach has to love. He's a guy that's done everything we asked him to do. He's another one that's played safety, linebacker, receiver. He's done it all. He makes me understand the pureness of the game, the pureness of the love of the game. He's the one who will put the cowboy hat on me at the end of the win. He's the one that, Coach, when we win, I need to see you in the cowboy hat, and I'll put it on. He's that guy for me.
And yeah, he's awesome. Another guy I got to know in the when we were filming, he was injured and did the film. Takeem Brown, he was a real pleasure.
Yep, Keem was one of my guys at South Charleston. I coached him his freshman and his sophomore year. I've seen him grow up from ankle load to a centipede. Keem is another guy who you wouldn't be able to tell isn't 6'6", 250. You would think that this guy is made out of steel as well. He had a couple injuries early in the season. He bounced back from those injuries, and he became the corner that we always knew he was going to be. Like I said, you can tell the difference when he's on the field, and you can tell the difference when he's off the field. And he did everything I wanted him to do and I expected him to do. This
next guy you're familiar with, Deshaun Stotts.
Yeah.
He just knows. That's what I always get from him. He just knows.
You can't tell him. He's a chip off the old block. He's my knucklehead, man. He's a great kid, but he's my knucklehead. He did what I needed him to do. I needed him to come here. I needed him to bring that winning attitude. I needed him to bring that mental toughness. I needed him to let them know that, hey, this is who Coach is. This is who he is. This is who he's going to be. And either you can respond to it or you can get out the way. And he was able to get that message across. He was one that's not going to let anybody around him quit. He's going to play it to the last whistle. He's going to play his heart out, whether the score is 50-0 or 0-50. You're not going to be able to tell if you're just watching him. And that's the message I want to get across to this team. And he was able to relay it for me. Because sometimes a dad can tell his kid all day, hey, you need to get in the shower, you stink. Hey, you need to clean up your room. Hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. And it just falls on deaf ears. But when they hear it from a peer, it's a lot more receptive. And he was my ear to the street.
The one thing about him is I can tell how he's feeling and how he's going to play by just looking at him. You can tell when he is focused. I thought the Nitro game, I looked at him and he just looked really disoriented. But when he's focused like he has been the last few weeks, I mean, you can see it. I mean, you see it when he comes off the field. He's like he's studying something, and I don't know what it is. He takes his helmet off when you walk him off the field. You can see him. He's just like, I don't know. It's like he's looking into a crystal ball, like he knows what's going to be played next or something. It's just
his body language is something that we've really been working on. I actually thought he played really well against Nitro. Nitro was a game where it was very emotional for him. That's where he played last season. Of course, it was a rivalry game. It's early in the year. Everybody was kind of didn't know who was, and we didn't have that chemistry that we have now. Earlier in this year, it took us to go through some things to be who we are now. That adversity sharpened us. That adversity, made us who we are now. And that game right there was one of the ones where we turned the corner. We turned the corner, and again, he was the leader. He was the one who said, hey, this is not who we are. This is not who we're going to be. And he got the locker room together, a players-only meeting.
And you can tell that. I mean, you can see that. When he comes over on the sidelines, when he does come over, it doesn't come over much because he plays both ways. But you can see it in his face. I mean, you can tell that he's focused on the next play. It's not even this. We're talking about celebrations. I don't think it's we got another play coming. And he's really focused. I like that.
Business trip.
Ava King.
Ava, GPA champion. Like I said earlier, she does everything. She does everything. And sometimes, we're looking for Ava, and Ava, she's doing this event, she's doing that event, she's here, she's there, and she's a jack of all trades. She's an amazing student athlete. St. Albans is lucky to have a kid like her in those hallways.
Yeah, I had her in soccer, and she did a lot of postseason workouts and stuff with me, and she was one of the few dedicated.
Phenomenal.
Nehemiah Bass.
Bass is one that's real close to my heart. Bass is really, 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 really close to my heart. Bass is a kid that every coach in America would want. He started for us the first couple games. His first time really seeing that much action, that much speed, the physicality of the game, and it was a little much for him. We had to take him out the starting lineup. We had to sit him down, and we had to let him know, keep going, keep going. And a lot of players wouldn't have responded to that. And Bass kept working. He kept working. There was not one time I looked on the sideline and I seen him pouting. There was not one time I looked on the sideline and his head was down. There was not one time I looked on huddle and he wasn't studying. There's not one time he was late to practice. There was not one time when he was at practice and he loafed. If I said, Bass, I need you on the scout team, he was there. Bass, play linebacker, he was there. Bass, play DN, he was there. And for him to respond to adversity like that, for him to be able to, be in a starting position, be removed from it, put back in, and come in the game in the third quarter of Parkersburg in a nail biter and not miss a step is the ultimate test of his preparation. The sky is going to be the limit for Bass and whatever he does, whether it's football, whether it's an accountant, career-wise, professional-wise, whatever Bass sets his heart on, he's going to get. And I'm 100% sure of it.
Yeah, he's been like that because he grew up with my son, and he's been like that all the way from a little kid on. So I see what you're talking about there. Now the big stud on defense, Tyrell Ellis. I mean, not very tall, but man, I tell you, he can get to the quarterback.
And I've been saying this at least 4 years. If Tyrell was 6 inches taller, if Tyrell was 4 inches taller, he'd be a Power 5 player. I've been blessed to coach Tyrell since he was on the D team in Dunbar. He played with my son growing up, and you know, you guys all know him as Tyrell. I know him as Ironhead. I gave him that nickname, Ironhead, when he was 5 years old. He played like Ironhead Hayward. His head was bigger than his body, and we had put him at nose tackle, and he'll blow the play up every single time. And he just had like, his head was just 50 pounds, and every time he just put it on the kid would just collapse. And I said, oh man, that's Ironhead right there. And I just watched him grow from a freshman in South Charleston to a sophomore in South Charleston to where he is now, and he's just been that way since he was little. Amazing in the classroom, I think he's 4.3. He's incredible. And again, the only knock on him is his height. He's a technician. He's an extension of the defensive coordinator. If the defensive coordinator is late for practice, Tyrell can run practice. He can run the defense. He can run it from the defensive line to the linebackers to the DBs. He can tell the defensive back he was in the wrong zone or he's not playing this technique right. And he can do that from the D tackle to the D end to every single linebacker spot.
A good tackler, too.
Man, there's nothing he doesn't do well.
I mean, it's just, I think he even had a touchdown at South Charleston.
He leads the MSAC in sacks with 9 sacks on the year. He had an interception against South Charleston. He's got 3 forced fumbles, and he's got 78 tackles.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. He's and I know in the game that I watched there yesterday on the FNR, they made a note of it, how talented that he was too. Next guy up, John Long.
John Long. Funny story. When I first got this job, first thing I did was get on the huddle. I wanted to see, how many players were here. And I wanted to watch the game footage to see who I had coming back. When I saw John Long walk into the locker room, I didn't know it was him. He had lost 60 pounds over the off season, and he was a completely different kid. And I told John, I said, man, I wish you would have kept that weight on. We need some beef up front right now. And he went from not being a starter to stepping in the role when we suffered all those injuries at the beginning of the year, and he's played every single snap. He's got 4 sacks on the season. He's been a guy that responds to every situation he's put in. He's resilient. He's another kid who has a 4.0 plus guy, and he's probably the most improved player on the team. There were times where we were in discussion of who was going to start at this other end spot. We need another D lineman, and John Long was there the whole time, and he just kept working. He's kept working, and you see it. And his production is off the chart. And again, he's probably the most improved player on the team. Yeah,
he's another player that played with my son. Very dedicated. He never missed practice,
never.
And he loves football. I mean, I remember him when he started playing football. He talked about how much he loved football, and so happy for him.
He fought for his spot too. There was times where we had people penciled in ahead of him, and he went out to practice, and you got this guy ahead of me, and he'll dominate him all practice until we got to put him out there.
Yeah.
And that's how you earn your spot.
Yeah, he did it. Center when you guys needed him down in Huntington.
He does whatever we want, and that's the motto of the team, man. That's what they do. Deuce is playing this position, and Tyrell is over here. Deshaun is here, and there's only a few of us out here, and these guys are just picking up the slack, and they're playing football.
Yeah. And the last guy on my list, unless you can think of another one, is Landon Green.
Landon Green was a guy who we knew was going to be special this year. We knew he was going to be special. We knew it. And when we lost him, we felt it. We were a completely different team without Landon. When Landon came back, it was like the surgery we needed, and we finally got it, and the results were instant. And for him to be the kid that he is, for him to lead the way that he leads, knowing that he has a younger brother that's watching him, and knowing that we need him as bad as we do, and for him to never buckle under pressure is just a testament to who he is. He's another kid that's going to do outstanding in the classroom. He's another kid that, you don't have to worry about in the locker room. He's just a kid that every coach would want to, and his accolades will come.
Yeah, awesome. 13 players, I counted, Coach. That's a lot.
We got Douglas Caldwell as well. He's
okay.
We lost him in week 3 against Huntington. He was a senior offensive lineman. He was one that suffered an ACL injury.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I did.
He's got
sorry about that.
He's got a long road ahead of him for recovery, but he's handling it. He's going through all of the treatment and all of the rehab, and he's the guy who still comes to practice. He's still teaching. He's still learning. He's still being around the team, and he is another guy that we definitely missed. Another senior that we lost an ACL injury in week 1 was Derek Gaither. He was an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman who was going to play a very big role for us, and we lost him to an ACL injury in week 1. And the sky was the limit for him. Before he got hurt, he had 3 offers to play college football. He's working on his rehab, and he'll be back next year, and hopefully he'll be on somebody's campus playing the game that he loves as well.
Okay, as far as injuries like that, is that something after the season you still work with them and with their rehab, or is that something
Absolutely.
they have to go out there?
Absolutely. Our guys, they're more than welcome to come down here. We've got a great trainer, Jason Forrester. He works at Taze Valley Physical Therapy. He does what he does for those guys. He gets them right. He gets them ready. And he's had his hands full this year with the amount of injuries we had, the concussions we've had. And we couldn't have made it through this year without Jason. Jason has been an amazing trainer. I'm so happy to have him on our team. I'm so happy that he does the work that he does.
Yeah. So out of I guess that's 15 players in. That's looking at some of these players, a lot of talent you're going to be losing this year.
It is. But they did what they were supposed to do. They ushered in this new era of St. Albans football. They accepted the challenge, and they showed these young guys the way to do things the right way, the way that, you persevere through adversity, the way that, the whole community rallies behind this team, the way that the whole city will throw dirt on you and you still go out there and you shine. And now these kids see it. Now they know it's possible. They opened up the lid, and now it's up to the younger guys to take it to the next level.
It'd be a good deal. As far as players, and we talked about Terrell as being maybe the defensive champion or whatever. Do you have an offensive champion, you think, maybe? I don't want to let any cat out of the bag. Or you think you're going to do that for the banquet this coming week?
Yeah, we got a banquet this weekend. Those awards will be given then. But
we'll get Josh to post those in after the banquet.
They'll be on our social media site, Recruit St. Albans Football. That's on Facebook, on X/Twitter, and we also have the Instagram page where we'll still, have content. We'll still have player highlights. We'll still have player spotlights, and just overall team news, what we're doing in the off season, winter conditioning. As we get to spring balls, flex days, all of that stuff will be posted on our website. So make sure that you guys like, follow, and subscribe to our Facebook page, Instagram, and X. Jacob Rourke does an amazing job of keeping that content updated. We are going to just, keep working. We're going to keep grinding. There is no off season with us. We just, we're moving into a different part of the season, but we're not taking it off. So make sure that you guys stay in tune. Make sure that you guys still follow us, and make sure that you guys get your kids out here and get them playing St. Albans football.
Yeah, that's very important. Josh does an outstanding job. I think he has about 30 sites that he manages. So, we can probably find all the information that we need there, and it's very important for the postseason workouts. Now, as far as middle school, are they allowed to come up and start working?
No,
out
they
the
can't.
ones that's
They can't work out. They can't work with us. But our off-season workouts will align. So when they do get here, they'll know what we're doing. They'll know how to do it, and they know what we'll expect. We're bridging that gap, that pipeline from middle school all the way down to the youth league. just tonight we were out there with the youth league. They again have their championship game on Sunday. We went out there, hung out with the little guys, ran around with them, threw the ball with them, and just made sure that they knew that they were welcome and wanted. And then we do the same thing with the middle school. Last week, the middle school was able to come up here, hang out in the players' lounge with the guys, watch the game on the Friday Night Rivals game, and just we want them to understand that this is the next step in their football journey.
I mean, how amazing is that for a little child playing football to have college athletes to come down and mess around, play a little bit, give you a little coaching? I think that's just awesome.
It makes them believe, and belief is the strongest thing that you can have. If you have belief, if you have faith, and you see it, it's something that becomes a goal, and it's not a dream. A goal is something that's very attainable. Sometimes dreams are far-fetched, but when you see it coming from your own hometown, when you see it to people that you're close to, it becomes a goal, and we're knocking our goals down.
Yeah, and growing in high school, I think one coach, the head coach, was the college player. The rest are just regular guys. But I mean, you're blessed. You have college talent all over your coaching staff, and I just think that's a blessing for the team, blessing for St. Albans,
and it's just it's being around guys who love the game like you do. Birds of a feather flock together. So when you've got guys who they're football junkies like me, I can call my offensive coordinator at 2:30 in the morning and say, hey, are you watching Hawaii versus Idaho? And he's watching Hawaii versus Idaho. He's drawing plays at 2:30 in the morning, and it's something that's second nature. You got guys like Kedrick Cunningham, who's fresh out the game, who sometimes I have to reel back in. Hey, Coach Kebo, you're one of us. You put the whistle up, you put the cleats down.
I see him on the sidelines here. Yeah, when he went to the booth, I was like, oh man, that's not gonna work out, because I mean he's.
But it actually ended up working out great for us because he has a beautiful eye. He can see it before it happens, and that's something that's more valuable than anybody can see. He can see it from up top. He can call out the substitutions. He can call out the formations, the personnel, and he can get it down to us quickly. And he can, hey, they're not lined up right here. Attack this spot right here, and that's what you get for putting him in the booth. And I'm just so impressed with the way that the staff has grown and the way that they've kind of come together as a whole.
So, well, it's been a fun year, Coach. I appreciate you coming in and sitting down with us every week. I'm hoping we can do this again next year. Next year we'll, I think, slow start, but I think everybody knows what to expect this year or next season, and I think that you'll be able to hit the ground rolling and work on that schedule to where we get some home games at the beginning of the year. And
yeah, that's something that I've already been working on this year. But that's something that we'll tackle and will cater to us, and we won't be away heavy in the front half of the season. But definitely want to thank you for giving us the opportunity, giving us the spotlight, the hard work that you've done all year, the hard work that Josh has done all year, for you guys to be committed with us, whether it be rain, sleet, snow, holidays, or whatever. I know on Thursday I'm going to see my guys, and you guys never fail me, and I definitely appreciate it and thank you guys for coming
We're with
down.
you here. Anything that you need to get out, we got it. We got you covered. You need a special interview or something to get something out, we got that too. Kid you want to recognize, somebody's get accepted to a college you want us to know about, just let us know. We'll get it out there, and I know Rourke does it, but we'll also get it out there, and we just want this program to be successful. And like you said, you can't start from the top right off the bat. So it's little slow baby steps, whatever it takes. We're in there for you and with you, and we're supporting you and supporting the team. And I just hope you can keep that coaching staff together. And
I'll keep them together. They're locked in. They are definitely locked in. The foundation is built, and now it's time to get really rolling.
So, all right. Well, senior night tomorrow night. Everybody come out to the field. Be there early. The seniors will march before the game, so we're looking at 7 o'clock, approximately 7:15 probably. So don't be late or you'll miss it. And then tomorrow night's game, Spring Valley, top-notch team. So you'll get some top-notch football for tomorrow night. And hopefully, with a victory, we can make the playoffs, and it won't be the last game of the year. But if it is, thanks for everybody's support this year. And we hope to be back next year with you guys. And thanks to Josh, Kaylee, Coach, all the coaches that's came in, all the players that's come in this season and sat down with us for the third segment. We learned a lot about each one of these kids, and really appreciate it. So thanks for everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, Whitehaven Productions.
Thank you all.
Know that you've heard the name Shuckers. Shuckers has been at 70 Old Main Street, St. Albans for more than a decade. Really, serving up such great food like Shucker shrooms, jerk shrimp, juicy steaks, seafood, wings, stuffed shells, scallops, thin crust pizzas. There's something here for every taste bud in your house. Come hang out in the cozy bar area or bring your crew in and stretch out in the dining room for a memorable evening. Shuckers is more than seafood, it's your food. Open Tuesday through Saturday. We'll see you at Shuckers.